on Love, X and Lies. Moji Shot Baba and Victor Peace.
Thanks.
These guests on today's show are talking about navigating being a man in the modern world. See wanaume soft in the regard that they are weak. What is the reality of being a man versus societal expectations?
When I think about my future, it's not just me. When I think about when there's money, with all these things and plans, I don't factor in just my own thoughts and all those things.
Yeah, because you're told you're supposed to be the provider, you're supposed to be the leader, so you really have to work hard and fit all those whatever boxes.
And is masculinity misinterpreted?
Demeko kisumbuliwa unaweza fight.
Inapambana, heri hata upigwe. Kuliko
utoke. Sometimes I hit my feet on the table. Then I'm about to start crying, then it's like, usilie, mwanaume, and I also do the same thing.
Like unaumia, like ini jikaze, like zinaumia, kwanza siniambia hata pole.
Welcome to episode 3 of Love, X and Lies.
Well done, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mudhani Rongo and welcome to episode 3 of Love, X and Lies. Mwanzo kabisa, we have 2 guests. They are Mana Baldman in the building. Tunaomba mji-introduce. Waambie watu mawili matatu. Tuanza na gentleman all the way on my right.
Hi guys. Nataka kumachap na energy yako. Hi guys. I am Moji. Shop Baba. I'm a creative gospel artist, MC, and I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Karibu sana mazee Moji Shop Baba. Ulifika mapema mazee.
On time bana. Keep saying your story on time. Nijenge jina huko nje.
Mazee. Gentleman on my immediate right.
Yeah, my name is Victor. Victor Peace, Victor Karanja. A digital creator, tech manager, and a small business owner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I came here I was the first one to come here.
We've clarified. Yeah. You were the first one to arrive.
Please
Thank
clap.
You.
Yes, thanks.
Victor Peace in the building. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, today's conversation is about navigating being a man in the modern world. But first of all, before you even go anywhere, kamilisha sentensi. Mwanaume ni Mwanaume ni
kipara. Kipara na ndevu. But mwanaume ni
umesema. You can never go back. Mwanaume ni
efforts.
Mwanaume ni effort.
That's the easiest one. Yeah. I was like
so we also asked the same question to gentlemen on the streets, and we are about to get to see nini yao walisema.
Mwanaume ni
pesa, kujituma, kiatu,
wallet na ujasiri.
Mwanaume ni akili. Na pesa pia. Lakini akili, unahitaji akili kupata pesa.
Ni challenges gani ambazo mna experience?
Okay, so I think the main challenge ni tunapitia kama vijana. Inauma lakini ni pia pressure.
Kila kitu kinaangalia mwanaume. Mahitaji yote, tuanze na school fees, tuanze hata chakula nyumbani, tuanze mambo ya rent, tuanze mambo ya fare, tuame mambo ya school fees. Si unaona mwanaume ni kila kitu.
You must have money in order to maintain your family. You must have money in order to start your own family. Unaona? Lazima utakuwa na pesa ndio uanze kujenga maybe. You cannot move you cannot move out of your parents kama una pesa. Unaona? How can you survive without those money? So I think on my side the pressures and kunazo ni kutafuta tu pesa. Yeah.
Ni challenges gani ambazo unapitia saa hii?
Mimi kupata hustle. Unapata kuna biz, but sasa before ishike unajua capital ya kukusupport. Alafu pia sasa unapata familia wako na wewe venye unataka. Unaweza pata plans zako, azifanye na plans zao. Sasa unapata watu ni vungumu kuelewa, pia ni kitu kingine.
Alizia, unaweza tuambia what does success look like to you as someone?
Peace of mind. Yeah. Juu huku nje kuna watu wanapitia depression mob sana. But ukiwa na peace of mind na ndio inaingia vizuri, uko successful.
Success is seeing the people around me happy.
Success kwangu ni nikakuwa tu na uko happy, uko na familia yako, uko tu fit. Una stress ya ati utalala njaa, una stress ya security, una stress ya nini. azina stress, azina watu wako wako sawa, umejiset sawa, unafanya kenye unataka, sasa unafanya kitu juu inabidi umeifanya. Sendo success kwa.
Right, so mona vile wase wa streets walisema. So let's start with Moji. Can you share with us your initial thoughts? Ni nini what has caught you by surprise there, ama has caught your eye kwa hiyo vox pop?
I think first of all the guys will pata a very good insight on the challenges and what a man is. I think okwa na wase wako very off, patana wako whatever na I think what comes out is that in a society in a associate being a man na responsibilities na money and all that is like you can tell from most of the guys like that is a very like watu wengi wametaja hiyo story like taking up your responsibility, taking up having money or the lack of it or whatever. It's like that is really close to what society thinks a man is. I think that's one thing in it has really stood out. But I think those guys have given a very good kuna mwenye amesema what is important is peace of mind and stuff like that. Kuna mwenye amesema seeing people around you happy and I think they've given very good insight.
Lakini kuna msee hapa alikuwa ameinsist mwanaume ni pesa. Challenges pesa. What ni success pesa. Everything pesa. Yeah, for sure I agree with you. So responsibility and money.
Kuna a lot.
Victor, what caught your eye?
I think what really caught my eye was that guy's hand. I was waiting for him to pull you in.
Alikuwa passionate. Alikuwa passionate wakiniongelesha kwa streets. Mzoni now in fact. Yes, I believe you. Yes, thank you. Alright, so guys, the topic of today is navigating being a man in today's world, in the modern world. But first of all, I mean, Moji, you can tell us, you're a married guy.
Yeah.
You don't have a kid yet.
Yeah.
Mr. Victor Peace, are you married?
I used to be.
Used to be married.
Yeah.
So you're a single guy right now,
yeah.
Right? And so I think you can share with us your experiences being single, being married. Is there a difference really? Is there a difference between a single man and a guy who's married? Yeah.
I think Victor angeanza because I'm experienced.
So Victor, I'm experienced.
I'm experienced being single, married, being single after marriage.
Kwenye kuwa single, ulizaliwa kama mlipromise to each other kama mmezaliwa.
But is there a difference really? I think there is a difference. I think the difference is basically the responsibility part, where when you're single, it's actually, it depends. From an African setting, like me, from where I come from, is that I've not only been responsible for myself, like I have responsibilities from my family and siblings and all. So I've always had these responsibilities that are not just mine. But I think being responsible for another person, like now my wife is another, like having a household and having to think about so many things apart. Like when I think about my future, it's not just me. When I think about when there's money, with all these things and plans, I don't factor in just my own thoughts and all those things. So I think the difference between being a man as a single guy and whatever is that when you're married, you sort of like, there's a lot that has to come in when you're planning. It's not just you. Yeah, you have to think about the family. Even if I'm thinking about myself, even I'll give you an example. When I was single, I could just go withdraw my account on empty and just do 7 music videos and be like, whatever. Neza kula mkate na mayai for the next 3 months. Like, I don't. Neza kana nyumba ina curtains, neza kama saishuka. You know, there's certain things that as a single man you can see a man doing a lot of like investing all the money in whatever. But you know, if you're married, like there are certain things you think about in terms of like so many things. So I think the decision making, the planning, and all these things, I think it changes once you're in a home. Yeah.
Mr. Victor. I've seen the world.
Hey, we have lived lifetimes. But for sure I'll agree with him. Because I got married like when I was really young, and I think there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being married, and because you're told you're supposed to be the provider, you're supposed to be the leader, you're supposed to be all these things. So you really have to work hard and fit all those whatever boxes. But then coming out on this other side, it was so weird because I was like, for the first time, I'm thinking about me. Like me, I'm like, this money has come in and I'm like, it's me. So it was actually, I wouldn't say I was about to use liberating, but poor choice of words. But it was fun to finally now, because I hadn't experienced that part in my life before. Because a lot of people stay single, then they get married. So for me, I was like, marriage. And then now I was like, now this is when I'm like experiencing the freedom of doing whatever you want, as Moji is saying. Like I can wake up and be like, I want to do this and I'll do it. I want to buy this thing and I don't need to explain to anyone that I need to do that. Yeah.
Alright, so I wanted to just get that view of being single and being a married guy. So what I've gotten from you guys is there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being a man.
Yeah.
But before we get into what responsibility looks like, let's talk about masculinity, the concept of masculinity. Being masculine is associated with a lot of, ni mafilo unaelewa umefika yani ni mtu mwenye unaheshima. If I'm thinking of a masculine man, first of all, of course kuna muscles.
I do kajasho
Kibamba, but it also comes with a guy who establishes their presence. Someone who yani akifika mnajua amefika, right? So that's what I think about when I think about masculine. But can you guys explain to us your definition of masculinity, how you live your masculine? Yeah, Mr. Moji. Being masculine.
Unaanza na mimi hata sisi.
Tulianza tu na wewe imani. Pole.
Pia majibu jamaa. Mimi nilikuwa nimekaa hapa nikiwa na konga.
Sema kama yeye. Eti Kenya amesema.
Just to echo what Victor said.
I was here to echo. But I think masculinity.
Thank you.
So next round. So
But, well, I don't know the Oxford dictionary, whatever masculinity, but what we understand is that what we understood, excuse if it may change sana, but what you understand is that a man,
what? Yeah, we're in 2024.
There are certain masculine, there's masculinity and there's femininity, and I think just by the virtue of being born a man, there are certain things that, there's a certain way, like, you behave, and you're like, okay, and that's why when you behave a certain other way, people are like, that is not masculine.
Right.
And I think there's that traditional, like whatever, like what people thought, like what being masculine is, being tough, kijikaze kama mwanaume, wacha umama, it's, so there's opposite, like, so being man and being a masculine man is being, like, what we understood is that being strong, being tough, manning up, usilie, jikaze, anakumbuka hata like unaumia lakini jikaze, like naumia kwanza siniambia hata pole
mazi ama sieta mlibongeshe.
So my first understanding was like a man is like not complaining, being a man, being tough, being strong and whatever. But I think over time nakuja ku understand, because here now when masculinity was was maybe under attack, I'd say, is that now the man or the men fighting back now introduce this other version of like toxic masculinity, where now you want to assert your masculinity, now it ends up now crossing the line. But I think for me over time I've come to understand masculinity just being you being a man, like what is expected of you, and mostly being a man. Being a Christian, the man that I look up to is Jesus, and it's just showing love in whatever. Because even when you talk about responsibility, and when you talk about all these things, they all stem from love. So I think, because ukiangalia vizuri, anything in utasikia it's very toxic when it doesn't show love. So yeah, because if you're being a toxic man, it means you're not showing love to your sisters, to your mothers, or whatever. You're talking in a very tough way. So I think for me, being a masculinity for me overall is taking up responsibility, being a man, being tough, standing up for whatever. But again, for me, love has to be inside that whole thing.
I really love that, man. Because even my idea of being a masculine from my dad stemmed from being very tough, no feelings, no emotions, yani tu school fees modhoni wamekula, wako sawa. That's what I saw as masculinity for me. But now, as the times are going, nimepatana na wanaume wa soft. Unaelewa? Na sisemi soft in such... Usicheke. See wanaume soft in the regard that they are weak.
Also gonna wipes kwa bag. Yeah, like
skincare.
lip balm.
I'm talking about the guys who they're not weak, but they are in touch with their feelings. They can tell you by the way, Madonna, I've not had a bad day because of such and such and such. And they talk about it, and it's not weak. It doesn't appear as, this guy, hey, kuna mali aja. He's not 100, you understand? And I feel like I identify with that kind of man. And if I had a son, that's the kind of person I'd want them to be. Someone who is in touch with how they feel, someone who can express how they feel, someone who's not afraid to say, by the way, umenikosea. Unajua wanaume. Anyway, let me not. This is not the conversation of for today.
You say the son.
But let's talk about...
you just want those attributes in a son.
Mr. Victor.
Yeah, not the guy.
Being masculine. Masculinity. Paint a picture, Mr. Victor.
Okay, yeah. So, like, growing up, I was raised by a single mom most of my childhood. But then I had an uncle who was the father figure for the longest time. And for him, like, in my mind, when I think about masculinity, that's the person that came to my mind, like, so many times. Because, like, I remember he was so tough. He was, like, macho. And where we used to live, like, there used to be thugs a lot. So anytime he'd come back, maybe as a bruise here on the head, then I'm like, hey, what happened? He's like, yeah, I was I fought G who. I'm like, wow. So then sometimes I hit my feet on the table. Then I'm about to start crying. Then he's like, usilie, mwanaume, ah. Then I also do the same thing. I'm like, ah. So that's the picture I grew up with, thinking that that's what I'm supposed to be. And I think that's what I projected even when I went into marriage. I was like, I can do this by myself. I'm the one who's going to carry this whole thing on my shoulders. You just chill, babe. Muja, I got this. But eventually, I started learning that I need to unpack my own type of masculinity. And the notion is men don't take care of themselves. Men need to be as savage as they can and go into the bushes and shout, ah!
To shower.
Don't shower twice. Mbona? Unajua. So there's like this aggression that comes with the idea of a man, and this is the public opinion. But what I've discovered is that even as a guy, especially in this time and age, you need to take care of yourself, because everyone is taking care of themselves. Like, everyone is thinking about themselves. So if you don't start thinking about yourself, you won't be able to fill your cup, and you won't be able to fill other people's cups. So then comes, do I want to stay in a dirty house? No. Like, do I want to, just because I don't have a partner right now, do I want to have mix and match curtains? I'm like, no. See, let me take care of myself as well. And then, like, mbona nisijipeleke out? Let me take myself to a date. Let me travel alone. Like, why do I need to? So, like, let me take care of myself. And the more I take care of myself, it's easy for me to now extend the same kind of grace and love to other people around me. And that's what masculinity sort of looks like for me right now.
Right. Yeah. Tumalizia episode. Oh, I love that. I love the way you painted it, because for me, it just steers away to what masculinity looks like. Ile venye tumesema toxic masculinity, right? So there's usually that sentiment on X, Twitter, formerly Twitter, X. There's all this conversation about what being a man should look like. Unafaa kumeza sindano, ufanye hata. You get like, hey, sini binadamu pia, au sio?
Yeah.
Because, hey, that's toxic. Toxic.
But
And my question is that behavior taught? Or is it something that you see and then you emulate? Or where did it come from? Where did it come from?
like your whatever. I think it's an African setting. But okay, so I think there's kuna the bright side to it and kuna the dark side. Some of the dark side is when you push it kabisa. But let's be honest, there's also, like, if right now you meet a man who's not tough or who's not stern, because I think the thing is, being abrasive, being violent, being whatever, all those things, those are not good. But kujijua na kukuwa straightforward about what you want, now to follow your dreams and to be hardworking and all these things. There are these things that are kuna vitu zenye ni muhimu, like in that whole conversation that we need to pick up. Because again, if we're really honest, we're also seeing the men that are there who are out here, or some of us who are not very like they're not going out. And right now, Kwanzaa this conversation is all about the modern setting. We're seeing the modern ladies very like out here, like you ladies are starting businesses, whatever. Like you go to like all these corporates and C-level, unadila. Say you go at uku down, you're seeing like business owners even like down in Nairobi, like they're ladies and whatever. So you see, like there's also a need of the man not to be toxic, not to be violent, not to be all these things, but to also step up and to go for their dreams, to be tough, to be innovative, and to be all these things. So there's a certain side to that story, mwanaume kusukumwa na go out na kuenda whatever, that should also be not isikanyagiwe, because now you'll have ladies complaining saying, oh, we don't have men to marry us, we don't have men to whatever, like these men are so whatever, because they remember you're the queen, you're the champion, you're whatever, you're empowered. Hey, they wamekuja huko na huwa boy child ako wapi? Boy child ako like at a certain age uko like, okay, at a certain age uko sure unataka kuwa nini, man, like at a certain age you still at a certain age you're still like
okay, I hear you.
So there's a certain balance.
There should be like a degree of that, forwardness and being tough. And we should also like match it with love, the way you said it.
Yes.
There should be like a balance.
There should, because again, at the end of the day, at the end of me, kama the biggest thing inakuanga mtu akuchokoze, and then I fight the person. At the end of the day, it's love. There's love there. Like I can't fight somebody.
Unaweza fanya hivyo lakini.
Nani?
Unaweza fanya hivyo. Demu yako akisumbuliwa unaweza fight.
Inapambana, heri hata upigwe. Kuliko utoke. Heri hata upigwe kwa like, hey, you took that job for me, maze. But
babe, uliona.
So I wore the wrong shoes. But the thing is, for me, what I've come to, like, it's all love. Even like when it comes to like taking care of anybody, it's all love. Like it's all, even that whatever piece is talking about when he talks about you taking care of yourself as a man, it's all love. Like, do you love yourself? Like, kama unajipenda man, utaoga usinuke, you dress nice. Kama unajipenda, you utajituma. Because at the end of the day, the number one beneficiary of you taking up responsibility is yourself. Like, if you make money, yes, you spend the money on other people and whatever, but pia utakaa poa. And that's the understanding. That's why sometimes you were like, when you find somebody who's not ajitumi and whatever, the first question you should ask them, because you don't want better for yourself.
Exactly.
Even before anybody else becomes the beneficiary of whatever. So I think the thing about also this whole conversation is that let's not like look at certain things as toxic, but let's look at them as, step up, bana, changamka. That son you're talking about, you wouldn't want your son afike a certain age bado ako kwako, ama unaweza taka kuona akienda nje. Not because kwa mother ni normal, but unaweza taka kusema unataka kuona there's a certain
progression,
there's a certain progression that alikuja a certain age, akafika a certain age, and at a certain age anakuletea a certain conversation. And I think that's what people should find, the balance in that conversation.
There's something that you've said, our ladies are being told, hey, you're a queen, you're the one, you're everything. Is the same happening for boy child?
I think we're so used to doing it for ourselves. Like, we've been hyping ourselves so much. So I feel like it's a situation where the society feels like this man has been elevated for so many years. So let's put him at kando kwanza. Acha to raise our. So, but the thing is, what you notice is that the society now is becoming imbalanced, because now you've raised this one for sure, which is valid and warranted. But then it reaches a point you forget about this other person, and then that's how you end up with these situations where a lot of babes nowadays are complaining that the guy is not a guy anymore. They're not providing. But you see, even like the social dynamics are also very different between now and what was before. Because before, women weren't allowed to work. Like, you'd stay at home, the guy would provide and do all these things, and that's why they even got bigger salaries and all these things so that they can accommodate for the families at home. But now it's getting to a point where women and men are earning even the same, or even way more than the guy. So now you're seeing a lot of guys are taking a backseat. They're like, nowadays I get stories, like I never knew it happens, but I hear stories where the guy lives with the babe does everything for the guy doesn't even work.
Yeah.
Like he just wakes up, he's like, babe, akunda mayai. And I'm like, yo, like, when did we get here?
Hey, yeah.
So in as much as there needs to be a balance in what you're saying, like, men need to also like step up, like, and that's my notion even in my life. Like, if I ever date, let's say, a babe who's making way more than I am, and I find out, like, I won't start being now trying to pull them down or trying to, or maybe even succumb and be like, give me money or whatever. I'll try and work as hard as I can to match that energy. Even if I don't get there, like, you'll see that, and yeah, this guy is working hard. So, yeah.
So, something that you've said, something that's happening in the society right now. Let's talk about societal expectations, societal pressures, right? So, the question that we asked in the streets was, are there any expectations that gentlemen feel? And a lot of it was about financial ability, financial stability. I think I could ask the same question for you right now. What are the kind of societal pressures, societal expectations that you're facing, or you're going through?
Or going through? Well, I think, first of all, I think when you talk about context, I think first of all, Kenya, it's like Nairobi is a whole different. I think the pressure now in Nairobi is for a man at a certain age, not even at a certain age. If you're a Nairobi man, like the first question I hear, guys, hey, so what do you drive? Like, what do you whatever? So I think there's a certain pressure to have yourself figured out so fast. I think that's one of the biggest pressures in Ziko. So kuna side ya taking care of your responsibilities, yes, but kuna hii side ingine ya, like, there's a societal pressure, social media that has brought about, like, you need to be balling, or you need to
be flashy.
You need to be flashy. There's that societal pressure that is coming out, that I think that guys are facing. And you can feel it, especially when you talk to, not that I'm very old, but when you talk to the younger men, you can feel there's a pressure
to make it.
Yeah, sana see pressure to make it in terms of, like, I want to see myself shining in my area of expertise or capability, but I just want the money.
I want to be seen with the money.
Yes, I want to be seen with the money. And and it's because of the societal pressure. It's like, you see, there are certain guys who are driving through and it's glorified. Hey, Nani is driving a certain car at the age of 21, at the age of 22, at the age of 23. So when that is taken up and blown out and whatever, what does that? It tells the 21-year guy, 22-year-old, 23-year-old that they wanna figure out their purpose in life, or their areas of giftings, or their whatever. They should be balling.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of pressure, like, you're seeing, like, around. The societal pressure is like, where do you live, like, where, like, which side of town, like,
Friday mnakunywa wapi, mnakunywa nini.
That kind of, and it's everywhere. Me hata mimi so church, but it's everywhere. Like, it's everywhere. Like, hata kasi kwa club, it's everywhere. Like, you find people like, like, hey, unakaa wapi, unafanya nini, like, what kind of things, hey, mnaenda veke wapi. There's a kind of pressure for single, for married men, is that, like, you need to show, like, it's a lifestyle pressure. Wacha niseme tu hivyo, kuna pressure mingi ya lifestyle iniko around, na inapewa say pressure, wanaacha kufocus. Those you find people who could be gifted in one thing, but they don't want to take the time in growing it. They want to take the time in working on it, like working on what God has given them. And you find them now, they end up doing crazy things, or they end up depressed. They end up anaishi maisha ndio, but ayuko quite content. Kuzo unaafu convince mse, but uko poor. But you're not doing so badly. It's just that the pressure out here is making you think like you're not there yet, or there's a certain acceleration that needs to happen for you to get there.
All right, so that's why I hear you, Victor. Societal pressures.
No, personally in my life, right now, I think the same thing. Like, finance is also always a big thing for most guys, and personally, I feel, especially now coming at the age, whatever age I am. Yeah, they're like,
I've known him for 15 years.
Where? 15.
Well,
10. So, but like at the age I'm at right now, like especially when you the problem is comparison. So like when you start comparing yourself with other people on like around your age, what have they done so far? And like there's a moment, especially when I now left the marriage and everything, and I start because I feel like that's when my life started. And because during the marriage period, like I was really struggling to make things make sense. There's like these opposing forces every time when I'm trying to figure this out. Something happens, and then immediately after the marriage is when now I started now thinking about my life and planning myself properly, and also opportunities start coming in and all these things. So now it's like playing catch up. So I'm constantly like, people are investing, people are buying what, people are buying property, sina property. In fact, at MSKSG, there's even a line, Drake says, quote Drake. He says that, how can I address you when you don't have property? Hey, that line hits my heart. I was like, hata sina property. Yeah, so like, it was like a lot of pressure all at once. And so that's one of the biggest one. And then the other one that is like low-key is this whole life progression. Like you see other people who are married and then you're like, guy, ntarudi kwa mimi. And then you're like, now your friends are starting to have kids because now initially I was the first one to get married. So I was like, ha, you guys learned from me. And then now all of a sudden I'm like, yo, timerusha huko nyuma. Guys are getting kids. Now I'm like, when will this ever happen? Will I even like be able to get there in my life? So I think those are the main pressures. And what I've done is just step back, especially the finances, and take the blessings that I'm getting right now and make the best decisions possible with every step that I take without giving myself pressure. Like, because like Jana, I saw someone with another hot mark.
Yeah.
Hey, na venye nakwanga huko nikipiga kelele juu ya Nala. Nala is my kaka. Hey, I was so humble. I was like, yo, immediately in my mind I was like, I need to go change this car now. I need to work hard.
Sisi ambao hatuna gari.
Then I was like, mbona hata anafikiria hivyo? As in, why do I need to do that? I was like, chill out, man. Like, just work hard, focus on your life, your goals. And when you do that, eventually things fall in place. And you even get shocked. Like, the times when you put in so much effort is when things don't even come to you because unazi repel ata. But then when you're at ease and things are flowing is when you start seeing things now coming into your life without any story mob.
Yeah, I agree. So I wanted to talk about, context. So you're an artist, you're a Kenyan artist, you're a Kenyan gospel artist. Kama mjui, I don't know where you live. And this is a lifestyle creator. He's very good on TikTok, very good on Instagram as well. So in that, in where you sit as an artist as well, are there pressures that involve being msanii? Msanii!
Umetoka mbali, bro. I'm so proud.
Pressure ni mob. I think zinazaga like unazaga na pressure ya ku break through. That's always the first pressure. There's the first whatever, like breakthrough, finding your footing. So that takes time. And then when you find your footing, you start figuring out like now the business aspect, the industry aspect of it. Now so it's even harder for us who are, ours is also ministry, right? So in a manisha, you can't also be very capitalistic. You have to think about like, am I blessing these people? Am I uplifting?
Praise the Lord.
So it's also like a balance. You have to figure out that balance.
What was that?
And then now unatoka kwa hiyo place ya umefuata maybe like the first hit. But the first hit unaipataga bado, well, kama umetoka kwa poverty unaipataga bado kwa mat. Kumbuka nilikuwa natumia mat ziko na picha zangu. Ya kwa mat hiyo unajiona
Na unalipisha.
So
wanakulipisha.
Ilikuwa na experiences side mbili. Kuna msee mwenye angekuwa kuna msee kuna mtu nikiingia na wewe kwa mat. Hata kani wewe na kulipia, I give you the money so that wewe ndio ulipe, because mimi nikilipa they'll take they'll tax me double. Msanii, change ya 150. Sana shout kwa watu mzima. Change ya 150 moji. But like gina nilishaka change ya 10 bob. Umeanza kukulisha change. Sana uko like change ya like ai bana 10 bob. Msanii. Hata kwa kwambia wewe ni msanii. Lakini wewe umedisha 10 bob.
Sasa nakumbuka.
Msanii 10 bob. So kuna pressure ya sijui unafaa kuishi maisha ukikuwa msanii like so that was the first pressure like even when you buy the car like there's a car I used for a while leo umeamua utoke na hii
so rude.
Kwa peti I was like dude
Kwa 500
unataka biashara unataka kunihat kutoka na haka leo unataka vingine kujificha. Pressure. So there are guys who will find you doing certain things and be like, we like how down. Because me personally, let me tell you, mi napenda mwitu. Like mi napenda mwitu. Ya napenda hizo chakula za mwitu. Chakula za kibanda.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love. So they are very. Tukipatana na kwa mwitu ni gote na uendelee. Now move on. I like going to those places and I enjoy that. And you meet the guys there like, man, atoka mku. Nice. Na kuna wengine hata wewe unakujanga huku. So I think you meet both sides of the demand. But there's a certain pressure for you to be a superstar and to be a whatever. But I think I'll see wengi sana. Wale wengi ni wale wanataka ukue as down to earth as possible. But now the challenge is how wenye wanakupea pressure your life, your lifestyle. Sometimes they're very loud. Now they bring up at a very in fact you're actually going through something. So and then they just trigger you. Sometimes because sometimes I think sometimes with artists that people maybe sometimes are like ni kama una feelings so as kwambia anything especially Kenyans. Yeah. So I think sometimes it's not what you have to deal is you deal with yourself. So you deal with yourself and you work on yourself. So you know where am I? You know your responsibilities. You know your life, you know your whatever. Because even on the other side is that even there are people who think you're flashy in certain things. There are people who think you're flashy in especially even like family and whatever. Like kuna kitu anaweza kuuliza like what's the cost of this thing and you don't even want to say. Because ukisema
it becomes the center of conversation.
How much are you paid for this thing? Like right. I don't even want to tell you because if I tell you I might not be aiming to like make you feel a certain way, but if I tell you then you think so I think you have to deal with yourself. You have to deal with yourself and you really have to pray that God helps you to see the balance so that some of these words don't break you. You go at your own pace. And also again, you don't have to also bring yourself down sometimes because sometimes people can also try to push you down sometimes. Usitulete usanii, like I'm like me hata sina usanii. I'm just here chilling. Like why are you trying to make me feel like bad? So I think the main thing in this whole thing as an artist, there's the artist and then there's me, and those two things are intertwined. Like I think for everybody, like there's Modoni people see on Pulse and there's Modoni, the person that Modoni is. So you can try to separate it, but it's not really separated. So the more you deal with the Modoni, the person, is that even the Modoni, the brand, becomes either better or becomes worse. Because you've seen even with artists, is that the more you don't deal with yourself as a person, it affects your art, it affects your business, and it affects your whatever. But the more you deal with yourself, nafanya mimi, I work on my spiritual life, I work on my whatever, I know myself, I know who I am devoid of whatever you know me as. Right. So it means it's harder for you to define me or put me in a box or to shake me. So I think it's working over. So pressure ni mingi, pressure ni kibao. Unatoa wimbo leo ina hit, kesho mtu anapatana na utaitoa ingine kama hiyo. Unatoa wimbo kama la siku umetoa wimbo but ulipotelea wapi wewe? Unamuuliza umesubscribe, ume follows. So now expect mambo aje. Why will you see my new song? Right. So there's pressure but then there's you. So you deal with yourself so that whatever pressure comes at you, good or bad, because pia sasa kuinue sana na sasa kurudishe chini. Yeah. Got you.
Let's talk about in the context of being a lifestyle creator. Uko pale watu wanakufollow, watu wanakujua. Victor Peace. Any societal pressure, any pressures that you're going through?
I think, okay. Thing is, I've gone through life. I feel like an old person, but I'm not old, guys. I promise. I feel like an old person, and like the experiences I've gone through before, like have made where I am right now, like be so peaceful. Like before, I used to like worry about so many things. Like I'd fight, like I'd want to look a certain way. There's a time even like my car got spoiled, like when I was younger, and then I'm like, sasa nitatumia matatu, sasa nitaonekana, sasa nitafanya nini, unajua? The mama. Oh my god, matatu is for the poor.
Oh my god.
But yeah, because now you've been the poor people. And then akasema, even me, she asked, they go like, like bro. No, but yeah, like, because now when you put yourself at a pedestal, the way Boji's saying, you're a big artist, alafu unaingia kwa job, whatnot. Kuna place wamekuweka, so you're trying to fight to get to a certain point. And I see this a lot, even in the creative industry, content creation industry, where you're called for an event, you have to look a certain way, you have to talk a certain way, you create a clique, like you have to look like the sorority guys who we're the cool guys and all these things. And for me, that was actually the biggest one, because before I was trying to fit into the space, and a lot of people used to tell me, for you to penetrate this thing, you need to fit in, you need to be extroverted, you need to do all these things. And personally, I'm a very chill person. Like, nakwanga tu kwa nyumba the whole time. So guys are like, how will you like grow if you stay in the house and all these things? So I started feeling pressure. I started going out and for events. Niko katikati event, naangalia tu hivi. Music ina blast. Niko tu najiuliza, unafanya nini hapa? Yeah, like this is even like had an event after 1 hour because I had to, because I was working. And I went back home to paint. I was like, this is too much.
The social anxiety.
I was like, hey, too much. So I think for me, that's the kind of pressure. But in terms of like looking a certain way financially and all these things, I feel like I've gotten a sense of understanding of who I am. I have a level of self-awareness where you know that everyone has a different journey. And a lot of people show you things and make you feel like you're not performing where you're supposed to reach. But if you actually get to know the people, it opens your eyes so much and you're like, hata kuna kitu hapo. Like this guy's not even as rich as he portrayed himself to be, and all this pressure you're giving yourself was for nothing. So I feel like that level of self-awareness really helps. Like you understanding what your journey looks like and where you're going to. It makes you not focus on other people. Like, just focus on what you're doing and you'll be okay. Yeah.
Right, so I'm curious if you guys are afraid of aging. Right, so as women, of course, kuna hii mambo na shelf life, nini, kuna unajua, kama in your 20s, you're the bag, yani. And I don't even know why most women don't realize this. But in your 20s, bro, you're banging, But then I think for gentlemen, it's a bit different. Because the older you get now, the better you look. Uko na mapesa, sasa watu wanakudai, nini, uko in the market, yani uko banging. Okay, but, Moji, you're married, so I don't know.
It doesn't apply to married people, unfortunately. Too bad. Yeah. Focus on me.
Are you guys afraid to age?
Afraid?
Yeah.
No, I'm just afraid to age badly. But to age, it's inevitable. And to age badly is not. I think for me, like over time, it's come to age badly is not that you unakamba, but to age badly is, it's like, just because just because a man has gray hair doesn't mean they're wise. Like, and in the African context, it was like, when you're old, deep. Uko na gray hair, uko na nini, msikize huyu mzee. And then unamsikiza huyu mzee, uko like, mzee ukutana. Tell mzee maziwa. So for me to age badly is to say, like, I'm not afraid to, I'm afraid to age badly, but not, not to age in terms of perspective, taking up responsibilities. self-awareness, understanding myself, having a voice like on whatever, like whatever area like God ananiweka. Like so my prayer is that even as I age, I'm afraid to age badly. Yeah. Where you're like like there are people even like I can say this, there are people who we have seen like we've watched since we were young, and now as we have grown up, like we finally meet these guys, and maybe you like people like they're icons and they're people, and you sit with this person and you genuinely would not be interested to sit with them again.
Yeah. Wanasemanga never meet your star.
Yeah.
Never meet your icon.
Yeah. And it's because but there are guys who you meet and you're actually like, man,
Wow.
Yeah, can I actually like talk to you again? Because can I actually like how can we make this thing a monthly thing? Like can I meet you like on a monthly basis so you can just talk to me? So I'm nataka kumit waseme on a monthly basis, please. I'm not throwing hints, but I would want to be that even as I age. I don't only age kimiaka, that I age in my perspective in life. I age in my awareness. I age in all these things. I can be more useful even as I get old.
Yeah. I'm afraid.
You're afraid? Why?
Hey, Mazi, I don't know how it will look like. It's just the fear of the unknown.
Eh.
I don't know how that will look like, but I know, like, especially like in the media industry. But we're not here to talk about the media. Sorry.
What? I'm talking about your story. No,
I asked the question and he flinched.
Oh no, yeah. I would I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared because it's the progression of life that is certain for everyone,
I'm imagining
but uncertain. Itakuwa we. I told you.
Can't tell you mimi niko nazo. Hey. Shout out to my baba, man.
Hata imeshika
Kilo mbili za dye.
t-shirt.
Kilo mbili za dye. But it's so check it out. Yezu wangu mko kimpaka dye ndio tu nini onekane, right? Sasa nini onekane cut. So this one time I went for a trip. Paul didn't take the you'll say, but this time I went on a trip. I think 21 I traveled and I was out of the country for a month. So sikwana uko dining express nikachana na yote together. Eh, achiangalia sema kujiangalia. Unajua vile unafungwa kile nini ya gari. Ile kio ya gari tu unajua. Naangalia uko ndani, I'm like, what is this? Junior uko ni kupaka dai, I don't see sionagi uko ndani. So grey hair ndani uko nayo bro. Usiogope sana. Watu kiangalia hapa. Welcome. Lakini sasa najiuliza Mungu, mbona unipe kipara, grey hair?
A combination. Yeah, like I'm definitely scared because I feel like it means everyone else is also growing old. So it means my mom is growing old. It means the inevitable is getting closer. That's one of the biggest things. But then the other thing is, so one of my biggest fears is growing old with bad health. So I think that's what like really sparked my mind this year. And I was like, Yeah, because like you're told this is when you start getting pre-diabetic, so you get all these lifestyle diseases and everything. And I was like, no way. So even I have like pictures. Okay, no, this is weird. It sounds weird. Inspirational pictures of what I'd want to look like.
Oh, really? Is that a thing?
When I like get there, like when I'm old, and I joined a silver fox, by the way.
Wait, umetumia AI or?
See, like TikTok, naangalia other creators who are like 70 and above, who are like with white hair and everything, and they're like jacked.
White hair?
No, niko nazo by that, I mean.
Walai.
So ambeo jamaa tulijuana 10 years. Anaangalia hapa. But that's actually a legit. That's the other angle of it, like aging and whatever. Like me, I was shocked when I went to a burial for like a 50-year-old, and I was there saying, "Gone too soon, man." I was like, "Hey,
Too soon."
I'm getting old if I'm thinking like cause kitambo tuko ndani
15 ni mzee.
I like mzee, and then you realize now as I age, I'm
You're pushing the goalpost, yeah.
So many funerals, like cause now it's like a friend's mother and all these things. Like me, I was mainly like when my mom got me, she was really young, so my shosho did a big part of raising me up initially.
Yeah.
So right now, like seeing her, like I realized the other day, oh mama got 70. God, and that comes with a lot and all whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear.
But I think those things are inevitable. Like there are things that are inevitable in aging. Like of course utazeeka, you can't run. Unafanya kitu hivi unaumia, una perform siku mbili, unahitaji siku zingine mbili. Kurikaba.
No, that's what I'm saying. I've seen there's a babe. I don't know if you've seen her. She's like 79 or something.
Yeah.
And she's like, she does squats. She's moving. She's like jumping and doing things. And I'm like, this is what I want to look like. I want to like do a backflip when I'm 70.
Can
That's
you do it now?
Eh?
Can you do it now?
Siwezi fanya hapa. Hizi kamera ziko stuck at orientation.
But you usually go to the gym.
Yeah, that's what now I woke up and I was like, I need to like get this done. I wouldn't grow old and have issues. Hey.
So that's about aging, but we digress a bit. The topic is modern world today.
Oh, my God.
And we can't talk about the modern world without dating, right? So there's all these complex relationships that have given themselves names today. Wanaita situationships, wengine wanaita sneaky link. You know what I mean? Dating right now is a bit crazy, man. And usually, kitambo ilikuwa we date for marriage, right? But today we date for
Vibes.
anything and everything and in between kuna mambo mingi, unaelewa? Sijui kama wewe, I know you're off the market kitambo. Ulisema kwa heri kitambo. Lakini vile unaweza ona kutoka
Kitambo sana 3 years ago.
Kitambo. Atu wazee.
What was that?
3 years ago.
I don't understand.
10 years.
Lakini juzi ndio inaitwa polyamory.
Polyamory.
Nikasema, "He?
Yeah. That's one lady, many men.
Wado kile
Many
ho."
husbands.
Hey.
Yeah.
It could never be me.
So you
Tunataka tu tupaintie how you see the dating world right now.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
Well, I see it on two sides. Kuna hiyo like there are guys who are highly experimental. Wako like very fast wanataka tu kufanya. Like whatever it's like kuna wale wako transactional. Like from where I see it, like what I see online and what I see. But from the other angle, I see also people now again. I mean mtu wa kanisa. That's why I am like when watu wanaendaga mahali pengine mimi ni mtu wa kanisa. I also see there are people who are very now like want to date for marriage very fast because either they have done all that or they stayed away from dating for careers and all these things and all these other reasons, but now they're like age is catching up and they're like me. So I know people who like would get married like if they found like if they date you tomorrow wanakuuliza by the way so I see like I'm seeing all those.
I haven't met people like this.
You haven't?
No.
Should come around.
Is that what you're attracting?
Church.
Look,
They have been attracting
Is that what you're
very weird things.
let's say many church peke yake. Even out here, let me tell you. Okay, so again, kuna kitu Victor amesema about the pressures of certain circles. It's a type of circles where you find there are circles apart from church. Church is a place also a bit honest or like by the way, you know. That's what it is. Not everybody. But tuku nje unapata kuna watu wanadiza even a serious relationship or even marriage, but they can't say it. Because the in thing is I'm in talking stages
Casual,
like 10 people.
dating, yeah.
So casual dating sounds like it's the thing. I think there's a lot of pressure for also people to not say. I feel like if you say you want to a serious relationship, people are like, hey, you're not serious.
Hey, we're serious.
Hey, we're serious. Like we're not serious here.
When you kiwenyeji.
Hey, what do you mean you want to be a wife?
What do you mean you want to be someone's wife?
Hey, what do you mean you want? So I feel like there's also that pressure here. I think everybody should do a thing, but I think there's a lot of pressure on both. There are people who are pressured to get married fast. There are people who want marriage. Don't want to say. There are people who don't want marriage. I think there's just a lot going on in terms of there. People are trying to find themselves, and I think there's a lot going on.
I have a question. Do guys want to get married?
Yeah, there are people who want to get married. Now, the fears of what it looks like and whatever is what people are now, they're looking for understanding. But like, how does it work? Like, will it work? It seems like it's hard. It seems like it's difficult. So I feel like but I know for sure there are people who want, they desire, only that they want to understand. Like even like when I meet people, like, so how does it work? Like, how difficult, how tough is it? Like all these other things. So I feel like I know there are people, only that sometimes they don't want to say it. Yeah, it's not something. It's not like they just, especially in Nairobi, like sio kitu nataka kusema. Hey guys, you know what? On my vision board is that I want to get. What do you mean?
The Lulu.
What do you mean? Like, yeah. So I feel like there are people who want that, but there's a lot of pressure, and kuna all these diverse things. It just depends on where you hang out, like na place yenye watu wenye unapatana nao. Ukiwa places flani, you'll hear certain things. Ukiwa side ingine, you'll hear certain things. Yeah.
Nice, so far. Mr. Victor, you're out here in the streets. Streets ziko aje.
Kuna shout. Honestly.
I pray for Victor by the way.
Yeah? You're a good friend.
Mwanaume anaoshanga nyumba.
Hey.
I'm sure DM yake ina I don't know.
Tunapanga tu exchange notes. What cleaning, whatever solutions to use. But then, so for real, like most of my DMs are just like, Ati, what did you use to clean? Ati, G, what bed sheet is that? What?
That's a
Get a pillow.
Yeah, it's actually constantly, you know, I mean, like, I have like people I've talked to for like 2 years now. I even know them by name. And it's always just constantly
notes,
like notes. Even when I was telling him when I'm out, sometimes someone at 3 a.m. say, I saw you have white bed sheets. Ati, how did you say you clean them? I'm like, bro.
Crazy.
Yeah, so like the crazy, so the conversations are always around that. But in terms of being out here, I was also like super shocked. I was super shocked when I came out, and because I came from a simple time where you katia someone. Like when I katiaed my ex, I was like, this is what I want. I even like told her, I was like, this is what I want. I want to get married soon. At a point of my life, son got 23. I was doing some money at a point in my life. Anyway, I was 23. I was like, I'm at a point in my life where I want to get married. And I was like, this is what I want. We dated for 7 months. I proposed. And yeah, so now we'll do that again, of course. But coming out here, I was like, situationship, sijui nini, all these things. And then I used to like be against them.
Yeah.
So badly, like not like I'm for them right now. I'm advocating, but I'm like, I sort of understood where they come from. Because, and I've had these conversations with people even on TikTok and everything, and they're like, that is selfish to have a situationship when you know you're not ready and everything. But what I want to say is like, life is not black and white. A lot of people want it to be black and white, zeros and ones, like binary. But there's always like this gray area in between, where, for example, like in my case, like I've come out of a marriage for CG how long, like I was with my partner for like 7 years. And then I come out here, and then I start, it gets to a point where I feel like, I think I'm ready now. Let me start talking to people. And then tuanze kuongea, one thing leads to another. Maybe something happens, whatever, but we're still like in that, like we're getting to know each other. And then somewhere down the line, maybe on the 3rd month, I'm like, zile vitu umesema, like, because I'm getting to know you. I'm like, there's no way I can stay with you for life. Ama, I'm like, I wasn't even ready. A sudden realization comes to me. Something triggers me, and I'm like, maybe I haven't even healed from this thing. So you see, now you've dragged out something, and then now you go tell this person, me, what I'm feeling is like, I'm not ready for this thing. Then the baby's like, I know it's okay. Like, we can just figure it out. Like, we don't need to put any titles to it. Let's just vibe. Like, let's flow. Yeah. So you're like, okay, so as long as you understand, I've told you I'm not ready and I'm not healed. And then Ash is like, yeah. You continue, then down the line it's like, what are we? And then I'm like, before. This is, this is a scenario, not me. I'm talking about my cousin. Hey.
Okay.
Anaitwa Kuzo. Yeah, so, you end up. That's how you end up birthing a situationship that goes on. I've had people like on my DMs telling me they've been in situationship for 4 years. I'm like, yo, what delusion is this? So I guess, I think this is what it becomes. It's because you find that a lot of people either are in bad spaces, like I'll talk from my case, like people who've been traumatized, maybe you've gone through a violent relationship or something, and then you think you're ready to start dating people, then you start talking to them, and then you end up in this weird thing where both of you are not ready for this thing. So you drag it out, and then then eventually you're like, of course, like, this is not going anywhere. I guess that's it. the streets
Yeah, the streets.
in a nutshell.
The
Yeah.
streets we run there.
Hata unajua. Hebu tuambie yako ama ya kazini yako basi.
I'm asking questions. Streets, streets nimeachana na streets kidogo by the way.
Umekuwa kwa situationship before?
Situationship, yeah, and I regret because it's like it ended like nobody gained anything out of it.
But let me ask you, when it was hitting,
Yeah.
like see it hit really well. Like it was like delusion to the max.
To be honest, this guy also equally told me, "Hey, baby, I'm not looking for something. Modani ni nani?"
It's okay.
And I'm fine. We're vibing. Oh my god, yeah. When you say you leave, oh my god, yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah, so it
we learned
happens.
lessons,
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. But streets, madeni nimetoka streets. Kidogo.
Hata me this year nimekuwa off.
This year
And I was just finding January. I was like, yeah. So no situationships. I even announced, I was like, no situationships. No, in case when you're working, then tutakuwa nayo.
Oh.
I'm like, hatuna vitu kaa hizo hapa.
Cheki venye moja inatuangalia wa.
Do
Cannot
you know
relate. Cannot relate.
You know, that's saying that tension if you're talking marriage, and I'm like, yeah, it's so hard. Oh, marriage. Oh, wow. How's your wife? Like every 2 minutes, I'm like, yo,
Alright, so guys, so tukimalizia, I'd like us to talk about the challenges that we rather men go through in the dating world. Tumetoka dating. In the modern world, tukimalizia, because I can see we're running out of time. But yeah, can you paint for us some of the challenges that men go through right now? I know there's a lot of mental health issues out there. There's a gentleman who used to be a presenter at Citizen and Kimani Mbogwa. Very recently, he had a very public outburst, and people came out in numbers to help him, thanks to Oga Obina. And I see that Oga Obina has started something just to help men, right? Wanasema men suffer silently, and initiatives like those that Oga Obina has started will help a lot of men who are going through things that they cannot speak out loud, or maybe they not finding spaces where they can find understanding. But I feel like that's something I needed to mention. However, guys, can you tell us maybe the challenges that men go through in the modern world?
I think the challenges. I think some of the challenges men are facing in the modern world, or we are facing in the modern world, are issues that have always been there, and the issues for responsibility. Again, as we said as we're starting, there's a certain the responsibilities that fall on a man, and two, there's an expectation, and I feel like with the modern world it has changed, where you're expected to be tough but not so tough, but then tough but then not so tough, and all these things. So I feel there are so many challenges that men are facing on that. On that note, you're speaking up. I think again, there's a certain way if a man speaks up, like you'll be told in your mother, you should not do that as a man. You should not speak up that way. But what I've come to understand is that even with all these challenges that men are facing, one of the most important things is for a man is if you can be in a community, like find a community, or find some people who can. And I know people will come out and say, yes, I was betrayed, yes, I was, all these things that have happened. But at the end of the day, unaweza nunua maziwa kwa duka mbaya, but ukitaka maziwa utahave kwenda kwa duka ingine. So that is what you find in a community that you cannot find anywhere else apart from finding it in a community. So you might be in a community that imekuwa mbaya, or like some friends or whatever that imekuwa mbaya, but it's good to speak up. It's good for men to speak up, like the issues, or places where you can be vulnerable, places where you can be whatever, and you will not be judged. And I think that's one thing that's very important, because when you look at when you look at many cases za men, you'll find alipotea, hatukujua alienda wapi, alidisappear. After a while, nobody knew nini ilikuwa inamsumbua. Like all those things. Or there's one person who will say, me aliniambia but akaniambia nisiambie anybody, or anything like that. So I feel men do not be scared of being vulnerable. And for me, of course, number one advocate was Yesu. Like I sing gospel music, and I find like church is a safe space where places where church is the only place unaweza kuja wanze kulia na hakuna mtu atakujaji. Kama wanaume, in fact people will hug you, wakupetish, wakwambie brother hapo sawa. And I know again when it comes to church, it's a hot topic again, but it's what I subscribe to.
Yeah.
and it works for me. Now, it's what works for me, and I've seen it work for so many other reasons. Find a place, even if it's not church. Find a place where you can be with people that can hear you out and you can talk about these challenges. You can talk about your dreams, and you can talk about all these things. And I feel like that's what it's not a solution per se, but it's one way of whatever. Like, find a space where you can speak up. Find a place where people can reach out to you and find out. Kuna watu wenye hata kama Victor anapenda kukaa kwa nyumba, kuna watu wenye who can just occasionally check on him, because anaweza kuwa kwa hiyo nyumba ndio ana like kwa hao, but how is he in that house, like ako aje? Unajua kuna vile ukiingia uko like hujamaa jabadilisha bed sheet hayuko poa, hujamaa ajosha whatever, like whatever. Like, if you don't have those people, then at the end of the day, when you go through issues, there's nobody there to check in. There's nobody there. And I feel like nimeongea story sana.
Yeah, but napenda venye unasema community is very
it's
important.
very, and a genuine community.
Yeah.
Si community ya sio kuchochana na kuweka na pressure na kuambiana whatever, kufichia na white na kuwekelea, tunasema kuwekelea na uzito. Kuwekelea na uzito inamaanisha like ni community ya, we just talk about like the high big things we're doing. See, well, like ni I just say me, I've had a very bad month in business. I'm going through a lot at home, and I don't know how to handle it. And by the way, sometimes if you're in a genuine community, which I have found, is that you say something and I'm like, hey, by the way, me, I'm going to do the same thing. Like, hey, man, Joe, hey, man, you know, my mom is sick, and I'm spending I'm making so much, and I'm spending so much now. Like, yeah, but then I'm going to do the same thing and whatever. You can even share ideas. You can even share like hacks. Because it's not just ni kusikize peke yake. It's like I can tell you, by the way, you know what, there's this you can do. Kuna kitu kaya unaweza fanya. I know these places. So that when you hit a snag, people are there. Even when you hit a win, sometimes you feel bad, but you're doing well. Like, your guys were like, hey, by the way, unajua ni aje? Oh, you're doing well, bana. Yeah. You're even, like, where you were last year is not where you are now. Like, people to encourage you, people to do all these things, and people to just work with you and just encourage you, correct you, rebuke you, cheer you on, and all these things. I think that's one thing that can try to evade some of these challenges we're seeing.
Yeah. That's very well said. Tukimalizia, Victor Peace, tunaomba advice to young men who are watching out there in your capacity as a lifestyle creator, a successful one at that.
Oh God, I think I'd say
4 things.
Four things.
Write this down.
I know, but I think I think I'd echo the same point about community, because that's one thing that has really worked out for me, especially during like my darkest times during this whole period. And the same thing, like what you said, it was so funny because I have this group of friends that I've had for like the last 16 years. And during that time, guy, nimesema 16, I meant 6. But that time when I was down bad in the house, there's this one friend used to come every time and check up on me, and I feel like that really helped me during that time. And then the other thing is that I know that it's very hard to talk to people, especially about what you're going through, and like if you're going through stuff. If you're able to have an opportunity, like try to talk to professionals, especially if something is really high intensity. For me personally, I started seeing a therapist immediately after the whole situation. And honestly, like I'll say for facts, like I wouldn't have talked to anyone else. Like even my mom or anyone, that's my biggest mom, my mom's biggest line. She was like, you're so secretive. Wait, I'm like, because like I laugh a lot of times. But at least for the first time, I went to someone who did not know me. She was a stranger, a therapist, a professional, and like I could dump everything there and not be afraid that, especially if you're known in the space, you feel like when you tell people some things, they'll go ahead and spread it to other people, whatever. Yeah, guy. Alafu anamaliza na let's pray for him. Yeah, I'm like, no, yeah, but at least this person like is born professionally to do that. So I advocate for men going for therapy and unpacking all these things. But other than that, I'd say like self-awareness is good. Like, do not, people say this is so cliche, don't compare yourself But honestly, like if you focus on, instead of focusing on not comparing yourself, just focus on what your dreams are and what you're trying to achieve. And trust me, like if you do that and you put all your energy there and there's flow, then eventually things will work out. They may not happen instantaneously. Things take time. So that's something else to always remember, that things do take time. But also like focus on where you put your energy and not what is happening around you. And yeah.
So don't compare yourself.
Yeah.
Therapy and community.
Yeah.
Right? So
Hey, summarizer in chief.
Na Mungu siku
what
zote.
can I say? Na Mungu.
SIC.
Na Mungu.
Kwa sababu ukiwa peke yako kuna vitu sometimes you'll be left alone. But for me, Mungu siku zote.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can end episode 3. Don't forget to like, comment, and
Subscribe. Thank you. It's a wrap.